a lot of the discussions during due diligence were around understanding why the founders didn't want to be a part of the earnout. Like, we did not want to work at the company if we got acquired. That was almost like our first priority or our first prerogative, is to not have to work for the acquirer, even for a small period of time. We gave them 3 months of consulting post acquisition to sort of make sure that the transition was smooth, but that was it. And essentially, once we managed to convince them of how detached we were from the company, they really monitored our day-to-day work and the interactions with the team to see if what we were saying was true. And
How do they
when
monitor
they,
that?
well, they were looking at emails, Slack, they were interviewing the teams, sort of understanding the process from customer to production and QA and back to customer, and understanding where do these founders fit in and are they required anywhere in the operations. So at that point, I was mainly focusing on accounting, which anyone could do. We just were saving costs by me doing it, and Jan was sort of managing the day-to-day questions from the team, but more like technical questions. Some things that anyone could have answered, but Jan was the go-to since inception, so they were just used to asking him a few questions around creative or technical.
So you're saying, if I just want to make sure I understand. So you're saying, hey, we want 100% of our cash at closing. We're not involved in the business. We got other projects we want to go work on. And they're saying, oh, no, like we've never bought a creative shop where the assets are human capital without
Yes.
an earnout and a big earnout. And you're like, no, but we're not involved. And so in order to pressure test your case, they're checking Slack, they're checking email, they're interviewing, they're trying to say, like, is this for real? Like, are these guys really not involved?
Yep.
Am I interpreting that right?
You're 100% right. And they took like actual projects and they wanted to be involved from the beginning of the project, from when we received the brief all the way to delivering the assets, and seeing where we had been involved. And like, once we can prove that there's no involvement at all, they can't ask for an earnout. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
So I do. So the letter of intent, I'm assuming the original LOI was a higher proportion earnout than 70/30. What was the original proposal?
I'm trying to remember how much negotiation we did. There was not that much negotiation, so I don't remember exactly what it was, but we might have even taken the first deal. Like, it was just perfect. They were very fair with what they gave. We were happy with the valuation. We were happy with the percentages. The only condition on the earnout was that we would meet, or the company would meet, the same revenue as the prior year. So it wasn't too ambitious either.
That's
We didn't
the
have
easiest
to grow.
earnout I've ever
I
heard of.
know.
That's amazing.
I know. So it was like I said, these guys were very fair. We got along, and we still meet each other to talk about stuff. So no, they're
That's
very
like
cool.
a flat out or something. Like,
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. That's amazing. So
Well, they just wanted to make sure that the business wouldn't collapse, like they'd
Yeah.
still be on the hook.
that's awesome. So a very easy earnout threshold to hit, meaning just keep the revenue where it was. And if I'm again, I want to get to the COVID story in a moment, but before I do, you had made the case successful that you and Jan were not part of the ongoing business, that you were going to agree to a 3-month consulting transition period where you would act as a consultant, but at no point did you agree to work full-time in the business.
That's correct.
That's helpful. And at the same time, I'm wondering, how did you get comfortable with putting so much of your proceeds, 30%, kind of at risk, if you will, in air quotes, without being employed by the company, being able to control the process? Like, how did you think, oh, like, I'm not going to be able to affect the earnout now that I'm not an employee of the company?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we thought about it a lot. To be fair, like the management we had put in place, we trusted them. We knew they had really great relationships with our clients. We just trusted that the company was in good shape and that the relationships were there to sustain at least 1 year of revenue. So there was a bit of trust, of course, but the pros of being able to sell and generating this cash flow to be put to good use, and then potentially losing 30% of the deal, outweighed just not selling at all.